Good afternoon. We're going to start pretty close to on time here out of respect for our online audience. Thank you all for being here this afternoon. My name is Kevin Gover. I'm the director of the National Museum of the American Indian. We want to welcome you to the National Museum of the American Indian and to our symposium, Transforming Teaching and Learning About American Indians. We also want to extend a welcome to our virtual audience watching the webcast. So the subject of our symposium, Transforming How and What Students Are Taught About American Indians, is a particularly apt way to mark the opening of American Indian Heritage Month. Students are presented with inaccurate histories and demeaning and false stereotypes about Native peoples. Teachers often struggle, with good reason, to locate culturally appropriate and historically accurate teaching materials about American Indians. Textbooks, popular media, and prepackaged curricula typically offer minimal coverage and only a single perspective on complex American Indian histories and cultures. These resources often relegate American Indians to the distant past and fail to illustrate the dynamic and diverse cultures of North America as they exist today. We would like to change all of that. In their presentations this afternoon, our speakers will discuss the need to transform education about Native Americans and how to go about it. The goal is to inspire a more comprehensive vision of history and a greater understanding of Native and non-Native Americans' shared experiences. You'll hear about the National Museum of the American Indians' National Education Initiative, Native Knowledge 360. As citizens and educational stakeholders, we all have a responsibility to ensure that we honor the diverse histories and cultures that make up the complex fabric of the United States. This critical component of social democracy begins in the classroom. The museum's newest exhibition, Americans, demonstrates that American Indians have been a part of American identity since European arrival and before the creation of American democracy. The images, names, stories reveal the deep connection between Americans and American Indians, as well as how Indians have become embedded in unexpected ways in the history, pop culture, and identity of the United States. NK 360 highlights how American Indian cultures impact American identity and democracy. Created in partnership with cultural experts, educators, and historians, NK 360's materials include narratives of the past, but also stories and voices that illustrate the rich and vibrant cultures of Native peoples today. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Maria Marable-Bunch, the NMAI's Distinguished and Dynamic Associate Director for Museum Learning and Programs, who will chair today's program. Prior to joining the NMAI, Maria was the Director of Education and Public Programs at the National Archives here in DC, where she developed the first national education initiative to raise the agency's outreach presence and bring national recognition of its educational potential. Maria is a career museum educator, having worked in museums in several cities, and built an extensive background in creating and implementing public programs and educational opportunities for all museum visitors. In recognition of her career-long work and contribution to the museum education field, she was awarded the American Alliance of Museums Education Committee's Excellence in Practice Award at its 2018 conference in Phoenix, Arizona. So please welcome Maria Marable-Bunch.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Kevin. Greetings to those in the auditorium and those joining us via the webcast. It is a pleasure to have you to join us today as we gather to discuss what needs to take place to transform the way American Indian histories, cultures, and contemporary lives are taught in K-12 classrooms. I also look forward to our exploration of the National Museum of the American Indians long-term initiative, Native Knowledge 360 Degrees, that will provide educators and students with deeper and more comprehensive knowledge and perspective about Native people, and bring the richness of the museum's collection, scholarship, and live programming, along with the diverse voices of Native experts and young people directly into classrooms nationwide. Before we begin our presentations, I would like to remind you to please silence your cell phones as not to disturb the program. After our last presentation this afternoon, our speakers will return to the stage and you will have an opportunity for a question and answer session. So I ask you to please hold any questions until then.